I'm going to hurry this morning. John chapter 4. Many of you know the story of the woman at the well. There she is. I believe that she's stuck on the same page. That's what the problem is with some of you in this room this morning, is that you're stuck on the same page. The reason we know that she was stuck on the same page is that she had 5 husbands, and now the man she's living with is not even her husband. I would say that's pretty stuck, right? And some of you in this room are stuck on the same page. And God will never be allowed to turn the page to the next chapter if you don't allow Him to free you and cause you to no longer be stuck on the same page. Now, she was stuck in her disappointment, her pain, and her sin. The man that she's living with now, she decides to do what is pretty popular in our day. Let me find out if we're compatible, and then we'll talk about getting married. It may be popular, but it's not right. Compatibility shouldn't be found out in the bed of fornication and sex outside of marriage. It should be found out in the form of dating. Godly kind of dating. If you're too tempted, probably you should practice group dating. Woo, I'm preaching good now. Come on, somebody. Sex outside of marriage is not a new fad. It's an age-old sin. Amen. And it will drag your soul to eternity without God in a place called hell. But there's hope for us. There's forgiveness. There's life. There's strength. She gave up on marriage. She just said, I'll just, ride this thing out. But Jesus showed up at the well. He said, there's hope for you. She, of all sinners, why would He show up for her? He loves you no matter what you've done, no matter where you've been, no matter what has gone on in your life, no matter how far you've gone. He still loves you and will still come after you. There's hope for you today. There's forgiveness and there is life. So Jesus begins to tell her all the things that she's ever done, and her heart is open and she realizes who He is. And so she runs into the village to tell everyone, meet the man that told me all the things that ever I've done. Is this not the Messiah? Is this not the Christ? You must come to Him first. Come to Him once. But after you've been once and you've wandered away, come again. If you need to come home again, come again. But for those of you who are here in this room as believers, it's not just coming once, as I said. We've got to keep coming. It's not about just coming out of religious duty. It is truly about relationship, because when we keep coming, you know what He does? He reveals to me who He is and what He's all about. He reveals to me His person. This is what happened. The Bible tells us the woman went and got the whole village, and they heard Jesus because of her. And then later they said, we believe not just because you told us, but we've heard Him for ourselves. Oh, you've just got to hear Him for yourself. But there's a part that I want to mention this morning for the believer in this room. The disciples show up prior to that, and they see Jesus talking to this woman at the well. And first of all, they're amazed that He's even talking to her. She's a woman, number one. And secondly, she's a Samaritan woman. It's amazing what the Spirit of Jesus will do to you to cause you to look past people and their flesh and their differences than you. Amen. And instead of pushing you away, you pushing them away, you're drawn to them. Amen. Because you have the heart of Jesus, the heart of Christ. But here's what I want you to get. The disciples show up and they're surprised that He's talking to her, but it's more than that. They offer Him food. They've been shopping, probably Harps or Sexton's food. Surely not Walmart. The line was too long and they were really hungry. And so they've been shopping for groceries, and they show up and they offer Jesus food, and Jesus says, I have food to eat. I have a meal to eat that you know not of. And they begin to question, who fed Him? Who gave Him lunch? Who gave Him supper? Who gave Him a meal? And Jesus said, my meal is to do the will of the Father. As I was praying about this message, just look this way and look at me. As I was praying about this message, something that God put in my heart was that America across the board, and even much of the church across the board, we have made our belly our God. Come on, don't shout me down while I'm preaching good. And Jesus said, I'm not worried about this meal thing. You know what my heart's on? This one woman is about to change a whole village. You never know the person that you're reaching out to, what God is going to use them to accomplish. You never know the person that God uses you to reach because you open your heart and you come again. Not only are you saved, but your relationship is growing closer and closer. Who will come this morning? Come again, and then last of all, come and bring others with you. That's how it ended. She brought the whole village. And they said, we believe because we heard him for ourselves. This morning across this room, will you come? He's inviting you, come. Those of you who have already come, but you're hurting, like the woman, it may not be sin, but you're hurting, you're going through struggles, you're stuck on the same page. Will you come again? He invites you because you know what he'll do? He'll release you from this same old page and he'll bring you to the place of surrender. So God can turn the page and you and God can join arms and say, let's go. Let's make a difference together in this world. Aren't you glad he wants to use us? Come on, stand with me. And let's give